tapping to get everybody. I told him that. I am not. I
thought you were outside.
I'm in here waiting for you.
Oh my gosh.
That's what he's doing. I'm sorry. He's rounding.
In a loving, caring way.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Okay.
Do we have a quorum? 1, 2, 3. I need one more.
You need one more. Sorry about it.
I need a quorum.
Tap the mic again. Give that a try.
Okay, thank you. We've got our sentinel at the door. We're in good bit.
There we go.
That's one.
We'll settle. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you would, follow along with the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation from Ted.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening once again. Please join me in prayer. Father, we thank you for the many blessings, for your love, for your forgiveness, and for your leadership and guidance for us every day. We invite you again into the chambers as we do the city business, that it would be honoring and glorifying to you. Father, tonight we're especially thankful for a couple of the items, especially the Veterans Day Parade coming up in just a few weeks, Adoration Parade right behind it, that we get to honor two great foundational parts of our country. Father, we love you, praise you in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Ted. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Lucas? Yes. Denham? Cooper? Milton?
Yep.
Howden?
Here.
LeBlanc? Here. Schultz?
Here.
Your Honor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll start off tonight with a proclamation. Marshall, did you want to have a few words? After the proclamation? We have a proclamation here. It is for Mr. Bobby Vinton. Whereas it is recognized that when Bobby Vinton left his stint in the U.S. Army serving as a chaplain's assistant, he signed with Epic Records and his career blossomed from that moment on. And whereas from 1962 to 1972, Vinton had more Billboard #1 hits than any other male vocalist. In fact, Billboard magazine dubbed him the all-time most successful love singer of the rock era. And whereas Vinton would go on to perform at the Roy Clark Celebrity Theater in the early 90s and realized that artists outside of the country western genre could draw big audiences in this town. And whereas it is recognized that Vinton would open his own theater, the Bobby Vinton Blue Velvet Theater, named after one of his biggest hits. Y'all want to sing along? Blue Velvet. And go on to perform in that venue for 10 years. Long after Vinton sold the venue, his indelible mark in the form of his initials, BV, would be emblazoned on so many parts of the theater, they decided to name it the Branson Variety Theater for a time. Needless to say, Bobby Vinton left his mark on Branson. Now therefore, I, Larry Milton, Mayor of the City of Branson, do hereby proclaim October 23rd, 2024 as Bobby Vinton Day in Branson, Missouri. I paused too long. And celebrate the career of Bobby Vinton and lay out the blue velvet carpet for his family that still calls Branson its home.
Mr. Mayor, the family is just thrilled and excited, and they're dealing with a lot of aftermath of some of the flooding and stuff in Florida as well. So that's kind of what they're dealing with. I wanted to take a minute, Mr. Mayor, and direct everybody's attention to the screen here. We've done it, right? I kind of thought of this set of 30 entertainer holidays, Mayor's Music Holidays, Song of Hope Days, whatever you want to call them. Not every one of these we did, but the majority of these we did, Mr. Mayor, and I'm really proud of it. We've had, if you just look down the list and think about the amazing people that we've had come into these chambers, whether it was Tony Orlando or Dino or whoever the case may be, and then there's been cool opportunities. Clay and I got to get on stage with the Oak Ridge Boys, and we had Jim Stafford at my museum with his big guitar. Some of these I pulled from proclamations that had going back to the 1990s, but I actually also found some at the White River Valley Historical Society over there in Forsyth. And so this graphic here pales in comparison to the plaque that I've been talking about making. And this isn't to say this is the only ones we will ever do. I think some of the contemporary folks, Clay, should have some as well. But this is kind of the set of the historical 30 artists that made a huge difference in Branson. Needless to say, I don't think we'd be where we are without many of these contributions. So thank you very much for the help on this, Mr. Mayor, and we march forward.
Marshall, thank you very much for doing this. I know Clay Cooper made it into the Texas Country Music Hall of Fame. So he's on. So someday, too, he may be recognized in Branson as a
one of them young whippersnappers.
What day you want?
Well, he was nationally recognized over the weekend by Terry Bradshaw, the Clay
Oh, yes.
Cooper Theater.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
awesome.
That was very good. You bet, Marshall. Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers tonight?
Yes, sir. We have 3 speakers. Our first one is. I know. I was just kidding. I know it. Just jumped right ahead. So sorry.
I just like to save this speech if there's no speakers. This is the public comment section of the Board of Aldermen meeting. At this time, the board will hear the citizens who have signed up in the order they are listed. Please note the clerk will let the speakers know when they have 30 seconds left and a notification sound when their time is up. We ask speakers wrap up their comments upon hearing the 30-second warning. If a speaker would like a board member to bring an item from the consent agenda down for additional discussion, please note this request during comments. Please come to the freestanding microphone to address the board. Madam Clerk, who's number 1?
Mona Miller speaking on taking Ozark Mountain Christmas to Irwin, Texas.
Thank you all for allowing me to do this. Okay, I'm going to read, like I got my own teleprompter here. Okay, Branson, Missouri, and the people who live and visit this city will be sending Ozark Mountain Christmas to the devastated city of Irwin, Tennessee. With the help of Convoy of Honor patriots and the God-given love of the people of Branson, Missouri, we will be collecting Christmas for 2,200 affected people. We will have trucks and box trailers to load and transport all we receive to the Irwin High School in Irwin, Tennessee. The Convoy of Honor will be base camped at the Table Rock State Park Pavilion from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on November 8th through the 11th. The Convoy of Honor will then pull out on the morning of November the 12th, headed for Irwin, Tennessee. My very special request is the means to serve them a real Ozark Mountain Christmas dinner with all the trimmings. This is a God's way of healing the hearts of us all. The gift is in the giving. I was led to do this. It is not me, but the God in me. And I trust that Branson and the great people will help lift up our mountain kin this holiday season. And P.S., we need a Santa suit, but we have a Santa Claus. You have any questions?
Anna, bless your heart for doing this, right? We all watch the devastation, and I know it rips our hearts out, and many people have contributed, but and they've been supplied with the basics, right? The water.
They have all the supplies they need for now, and that's where they've been asking that if you're planning on bringing supplies such as water and food and stuff, you hold off for 3 months because they're going to continue to need these supplies for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be a speedy recovery. And right now, most of the stations or areas that are accepting goods are over capacity. They need concentration on certain things such as propane tanks, the small green tanks. They were given a whole lot of the tent heaters, but they need the propane tanks and hot hands, okay? Those little things that you can buy, hot hands, okay? Things like that is what they're needing, blankets, coats, okay? But that's not my goal.
That's right.
We have fed their bodies. We have helped to keep them warm, and we have given them shelter as much as we could possibly do. But their spirit, they're in shock. They're going to head to depression, which is a normal thing with disasters. And I believe that the love and Christmas spirit of Branson can get loaded on some semi-trucks and convoy its way to Irwin, Tennessee, and we can take that gymnasium at that school and turn it into a winter wonderland that can't be beat. So I'm asking the city to get behind me in this, and we need a banner for the collection date if anybody chooses to help us with a banner for setting up outside of the state park, letting folks know where they can come and bring their gifts. Oh, things we're asking for is new pre-lit trees. We're looking for board games. We want those board games wrapped and marked with an age-appropriate status on them. Playing cards. We want to put playing cards in every stocking, and I need 2,200 stockings minimum, and an ornament for each person. Some playing cards, a score pad, a pen, a pencil, an ornament, and some of Ozark Mountain's wonderful candies would be just what the doctor ordered to lift the spirits of these people that desperately need a bit of positive energy.
Mana, bless your heart. Thank you very much. And Kathy, you will assist on getting this word out of what our community is doing, and maybe the CVB can. Yeah. Thank you, Mona. Who's going to follow Mona?
Ron Leggins, and he's speaking on We Serve Luncheon at the Lions Club.
Hello, Ron.
Mayor, I'm honored to be here with you and Aldermen. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Okay, I just wanted to say first, I'm honored to be with people that serve the community. It's all about the Lions Club. We're a club that serves the community. We give over $100,000 to the local community for different things, such as Kids Site. We help elevate Branson with poverty-level kids. We've done 2 cataract surgeries for people that needed jobs, and we're always there for the community. What I'm here today for is to invite you all to the November 1st at 10 o'clock is the We Serve Luncheon, and we're honoring outstanding individuals in the community from all the organizations. With David Wright, I guess it's about 6-7 years ago, we started this organization where we meet, or group that we meet every other month. It's called the Agency Leaders Group of all the organizations in the community that serve, such as the Simmering Center, the Red Cross, CAM, all the organizations that elevate Branson that help the community. So for the We Serve Luncheon, we're going to have the booth set up. Larry, you've been to it last year. And all the organizations, it's good for you to go around and see what each of them are doing for the community to help poverty. And by putting this group together, we were able to eliminate some of the food pantries, and we work together now so that when we have the main food pantry, I think was at the Catholic Church last year, and we got all our volunteers together to help with it. And you get the health department there to screen the individuals and poverty level people and help meet their needs. And one of the goals of our group is to make sure that nobody gives anybody money in the community, whether they're on the street or anything else. We invite all your pastors to come to this luncheon so that they can see where they can send people when they need help, because money is the wrong kind of help. That's not the help that they need. So that's what I'm here to do, is invite you. Again, it starts at 10 o'clock. There's about an hour to go through all the booths and visit with each of the organizations in the community. There's, I don't remember, 40 of them, 50 of them. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll feed you a real nice meal. And then we're going to honor, there's 4 different groups this year, some from Branson, some from Hollister, and the mayors, and they'll give them an award. And then afterwards, they'll get a chance to speak if you want to speak, and then visit with the booths. It doesn't. Usually it's over with before 1 or about 1 o'clock. Brian Seitz is also a member of the Lions Club. It's a great community. He knows when he puts on his vest, he's no longer a Republican or a Democrat. We just serve the community. We don't talk about politics in there, but we do want you to encourage, because it's the cream of the crop. You got the best people in the world in that building, the ones that in our community. And this president last year from Lions International came and visited Branson. She was from Canada. She said that Branson is really like an ambassador for all other communities in the world. She couldn't believe that things that Elevate Branson were doing, and all the other, and the group that we had together, and all the things that the Branson's doing for their community, or the Lions Club's doing for their community too. So if you have any questions, just.
Ron, I'll say, I've been privileged and honored to be invited the last several years. And what the Lions Club does is they're like unsung heroes. I've seen you in action, and what the Lions do for our community, and Representative Seitz is very well involved with that, is very admirable, very appreciated.
Thank you.
You
Thank you
didn't say
very
where this is. I assume it's up on Mount Branson?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's at 1015 East Highway 76 in Branson. We're not in the city limits, but we represent both Branson
Right.
and Hollister.
Very nice. Thank you again, Ron.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Our final speaker is Mike Krimper, speaking on Vets Parade.
We having a parade this year, Mike?
Mr. Mayor, Honorable Aldermen, I'm here to, of course, let me start this off. I'm like very confused. I've been just all of a sudden enlightened as to even having a permit for the parade, and wasn't really sure. There must have been a big hole in the training somewhere there, because I'm sure they were telling me this happens every year. Am I correct?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you learn something new every day. But primarily, it's for questions from you all, I think, relative to that permit. And are there certain things that you have in mind that you needed answered from me at this point?
Mike, I know that when it was brought to our attention that we hadn't been through the permit process, my whole team here got behind this and did what they needed to do, and I know it's on our agenda tonight for approval. And there's no difference other than the only difference I know this year is our Grand Marshal is Gary Luttrell.
Gary
He's a
Luttrell.
Medal of Honor recipient.
Exactly.
And
So far, we have 75 participants, 10 of those participants are bands, high school bands.
oh, very nice.
Which will be nice. And yes, finally got approval. They'll have 2 UH-60 helicopters start the parade this year. I tried for warthogs, but just didn't want to fly this year. Everything's been confirmed with regards to the parking lot and the convention center. That always seems to be a point that we have to make sure that we have that covered. Of course, I think the other things needed, insurance policy, that's already taken care of.
Yep.
Have, as I said, the helicopter there, and of course, you mentioned Mr. Luttrell already being the Grand Marshal. And again, we have assistance from the Branson Daybreakers Rotary Club for the staging process. That's moving out 75 participants
Yeah.
to get them in line and for the parade. And final parade staging instructions will be sent out to the folks over the next couple of weeks. And that's pretty much how it goes every year. So
We're
is
honored
there
to
any
do
other
our
further
part.
questions, or?
Do we have any questions? Artie?
I'd just like to say that 2 years ago, I had the honor and privilege to drive the Grand Marshal
Oh, nice.
to the parade,
okay.
not in the parade, but to the parade. He was my 98-year-old World War II vet, Dale Higgins.
Yeah.
And last
wonderful
year,
man.
I got a chance to drive him to the parade. He was not the Grand Marshal, but he rode in it, and he wore his Navy
Navy
uniform
uniform.
from World War II.
Absolutely.
That's
He's
cool.
quite a gentleman.
Passed away this year, so he won't be there this year.
He'll be watching, though.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, folks, very much.
Thank you, Mike. Before we continue with the agenda, anybody listening, and maybe we could put a news article out, I'd really encourage all Branson residents and businesses to listen to the study session that we had earlier. It'll be recorded, or it was recorded, it'll be on our website, the City of Branson's website. It's bransonmo.org. And to listen to what Chief Martin shared with us about emergency management. It was a great message, and a lot of the things that he said, I think our community will be much safer with the more community members that we have that can listen to that message, and just that little extra of preparedness goes a long way, and he shared kind of what to expect. So if you missed that study session, I'm going to encourage you to revisit that. Next is the consent agenda. Are there any items that any member of the board would like to have moved down from the consent agenda to ask additional questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move down item number 3 from the consent agenda and placed as the first item on the regular agenda.
Very nice. So Madam Clerk, would you please read the items on the consent agenda as amended?
Your Honor, the items on the consent agenda are as follows. Approval of the Board of Aldermen minutes for the October 8th, 2024 special meeting, October 8th, 2024 regular meeting, and October 15th, 2024 special meeting. Acknowledgement of disbursements for September 20th, 2024 through October 11th, 2024. And final reading of Bill Number 6493, an ordinance amending Appendix A of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to water and sewer rate adjustment of the utilities fee schedule. Your Honor, that concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
Do I have a motion approving the consent agenda? We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, provide a roll call vote, please.
Lucas? Denham? Cooper?
Yes.
Howden? LeBlanc?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5-0, motion carries. Your Honor, this is the final reading of Bill Number 6488, an ordinance amending Chapter 6 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to sales of intoxicating liquor.
You've heard the final reading of Bill Number 6488. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll get a staff report from Holly Dodge. Hello, Holly.
There was a request to look into this matter because of the amendments that we are allowing for the to-go option. Your prohibited acts under Section 6166 included a prohibited act of sale of off-premises consumption of more than 30 ounces of malt liquor or non-intoxicating beer. And I believe there's going to be a motion to amend that, which is 6-166 subsection C, and it allows for the exception as provided in the amendment section 6-178, where you're allowing that to-go sale. So it's clarifying, even though the statute already provides for it, that your non-intoxicant beer and your chilled malt liquor can be sold as provided in compliance with 6178, should you vote on final approval.
Any aldermen have any questions on this? Glenn?
Mr. Mayor, just to help the process along here, I'll move to amend Bill 6488 to include Section 6-166C to the ordinance and add to the end of the first sentence and accept as otherwise provided by Section 6-178.
Do I have a second? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak to this matter? Any alderman comments? Then let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you, Holly.
So that was on the amendment, and now we need to vote on the bill as amended, which would just be a roll call vote at this moment.
Okay, so Madam Clerk, would you provide a roll call vote on this bill as amended?
Lucas? Denham? Cooper?
Yes.
Howden?
Yes.
LeBlanc?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5-0, motion carries.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6494, an ordinance authorizing the City of Branson, Missouri Certificates of Participation Series 2024 and certain other documents and actions by the city.
You've heard the first reading of Bill Number 6494. Do I have a motion approving this bill? We have a motion and a second. We'll get a staff report from Sarah Granath and Tom Calico.
And Tom is joining us virtually.
Hey, good evening. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Great.
This
I
Tom?
can't see you all, but I'm going to trust that you're there because I can hear you.
Can you see us now?
Now, oh, here we go. Now, there you are. Great. So I'm reporting on the sale of your certificates of participation, Series 2024. What you have in front of you for consideration on two readings tonight is an ordinance which would authorize the issuance of the certificates and the approval of certain related documents. Now, we need to do two readings in order to meet federal rules surrounding municipal bonds as securities require that we inform the purchaser of the certificates by tomorrow morning of their approval. So we need the two readings in order to meet that deadline. This is a standard practice in the municipal bond industry. So as I mentioned, we sold today certificates of participation in the amount of $10,015,000. These are 20-year certificates, so a 20-year term. That amount, you may notice, was decreased from $10,215,000 because the city received what's called a premium bid for their certificates. The certificates will finance the new police building. We took bids at 10 a.m. today. We received two bids representing 37 different banks. The winner was Robert W. Baird and Company at a true interest cost of just over 4%, 4.05%. These were competitive bids based on current market indices. As we typically do with your debt issuance, we sought a rating from S&P Global. They assigned a rating of A to the certificates, and in their report, they cited certain strengths of the city. Those include stable reserves, a growing tax base, and sound financial management policies and practices. So with that, I would recommend awarding the 2024 certificates of participation to Robert W. Baird and Company. And I would be remiss before yielding the floor to not recognize the excellent work of your city staff and your bond counsel, Gilmore and Bell, whose input obviously is very, very important to the transaction. We're just part of the team. So thank you very much. Happy to respond to any questions.
So in summary, this is very exciting news, right? Our police department was estimated at 16 million. City put up $6 million in cash, took out a $10 million bond, amortized over 20, this is fully amortized, Tom?
So, yeah, it'll be a 20-year term, amortized over 20 years, roughly equal annual debt service payments.
And 4.05% in today's market is, I'm gonna say that's very, very good. And the fact that Branson received an A rating. Is a big deal. Did you get that, Mr. Media back there?
Bond rating A+.
Yeah. So that's excellent. Sarah, did you have something you'd like to add?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Mayor and Board. Sarah Granath with Gilmore and Bell. So we, as Tom mentioned, are bond counsel to the city. We worked with Tom to create the documents to approve these certificates of participation. I won't bore you too much on the details, but I do want to explain the structure a little bit so that you fully understand what is going on with the financing. So these are annual appropriations. That means that the collateral on your loan, this would be as if you as an individual went to the bank and took out a mortgage. The city cannot just walk to a bank and do that. So this is kind of the method that we use to create that same kind of outcome. And so the mortgage, if you will, or the interest, the collateral on these certificates of participation is the police building. So we have been working with the city staff and city attorney on the title work on the police building. You'll see that further down in your agenda as well. But that is the collateral, and then the loan terms are evidenced by what we call certificates of participation. So a little bit of a unique term, but I just wanted to give you a little insight there on what certificates of participation are. So I'm happy to answer any questions, as Tom is as well, on any of the documents or the terms that we have here before you.
Any aldermen have any questions, comments? Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Sarah and Tom, I'm just tickled pink, to be honest with you. It is a big day. Did you get that, Mr. Media? Today's a big day in Branson, Missouri. Thank you very much. So we need to vote for this. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Your Honor, I move to read Bill number 6494 for its final reading to get the ball rolling, I guess.
Okay, do I have a second? So we have a motion and a second. Any board member wishing to speak regarding this matter? Anybody in the audience? What we're going to vote on right now is to approve to have a second reading. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, would you please provide the introduction for this item again?
Your Honor, this is the final reading of Bill number 6494, an ordinance authorizing the City of Branson, Missouri Certificates of Participation Series 2024 and certain other documents and actions by the city.
You have heard the final reading of Bill 6494. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any members of the board have any comments or questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Ralph.
I just want to stress the gravity of what we're about to do and a sense of how important it is to the community. You know, for many, many years, 20 plus, 25 plus years, there's been talk of, you know, a police station for our public safety and things like that. And, you know, this board, you know, took a jump off a really steep cliff with this, the purchase of the White House Theater and you know, making sure that, as Chief Martin would say, we didn't have mission drift, we stayed mission focused. And that's been, you know, because of Kathy's leadership and staff just being on point. And, you know, in the beginning, you know, Michael was, gosh, like the man of the hour out there, making sure that, you know, this was going to be a good thing for our community. And, you know, he shored all those things up. And that's what gives us the level of confidence to keep moving forward with this and to make the decisions that we made. And, you know, I mean, that project's already multiple weeks ahead of time, ahead of schedule, and that's just indicative of our staff leadership. Let's get it done quickly, let's get it done under budget and under time, and I foresee this happening too. So I want to thank everybody involved with that. I think this is fabulous, and the creativity of the finance department and Baker Tilly to come up with this, I think is just instrumental and really gave us the confidence that we needed financially to make this decision. So I think it's a great, great thing.
Ralph, we have a little cheerleader squad over here. Ralph, I completely agree with everything you just said. And it is a combination of a lot of effort that, and I'm going to say that Kathy has coalesced together to cause these kinds of things to happen. It's a big day for our city.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd just like to second Holly's woo-yah.
We have a motion, a second. So, back to business at hand. Madam Clerk, would you provide a roll call vote, please?
Lucas,
Yes.
Denham, Cooper,
Yes.
Howden,
Yes.
LeBlanc,
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5-0, motion carries.
Very nice.
Look at that enthusiasm. Your Honor, this is a first reading of Bill number 6495, an ordinance approving a project of the Industrial Development Authority of Taney County, Missouri.
You've heard the first reading of Bill 6495. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So move.
We have a motion, a second. We'll get a staff report from Sarah.
Good evening again. So before you tonight is the first reading of an ordinance that would allow the Taney County Industrial Development Authority to participate and assist the 76 Entertainment Community Improvement District in their financing to improve 76 Highway. And I will do a little bit of an explanation here of why this is before you all. So the 76 ECID is allowed statutorily to go out 20 years on a debt issuance. That is not enough time to fully amortize the payments of approximately $35 million in improvements that they need to do on this initial tranche of financing. They have a plan of about $90 million over the next 7 to 8 years. And so to make those annual payments work and continue on schedule to improve the highway, the issuance needs to go out 30 years. That is able to be done through the Taney County IDA. This Taney County IDA is an independent governmental political organization that is allowed to operate in Taney County as it sees fit. It has its own board that governs its actions. However, whenever a county IDA operates within a city in Missouri, the statutes that the county IDA operates under require that county IDA to seek approval of the city that it's operating within. So that's why we're here before you today, is that the Taney County IDA is seeking your consent to do this project within the city limits. It does not obligate the city to pay anything, to do any further action, have any further part in the project. Obviously, you will hopefully see the benefits of an improved highway, but you are not obligated on anything in the future. It is just providing your consent. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have on this structure.
Sarah, I think that was a very good explanation. Thank you.
I heard we're not
If
obligated
this
to
board
payment.
understood it.
Only the good parts, right? No obligation.
Any questions from the board? Glenn?
Yeah, Sarah, I noticed on the document, it clearly references the 33,000, which is this immediate phase, but there is also a reference, million, sorry.
Yeah.
There's also a reference to 90 million. Can
Yes.
you explain that, please?
Yeah, so the CID has this plan to improve the rest of 76 Highway. A couple years ago, they extended the boundaries of the CID. And so there are 3 phases, is how they have it phased out right now. They're called different parts. I believe we're on part 7 and 8 for this initial section, but there are 3 parts. And so this year, we are going to do the 34-point-some million in issuance. And then I believe it's 4 years, they plan to do the second 30-ish million. And then again, 8 years from now would be the final 30 million. And that, I believe, is the full project to improve 76 Highway. And so that, again, is why they need to go longer than 20 years that CID allows.
So does it avoid the need to come back to us again for those other two phases?
did,
Is that
yes.
essentially what this is doing?
Yes, we wrote this so that the Taney County IDA does not need to come back before you to seek consent on those additional projects within that 90 million.
They won't need our consent, but the IDA will still be involved with the financing
Absolutely.
of future phases.
Absolutely. The IDA will go through their normal procedures for each issuance.
And just for clarity, the current segment we're on with this financing is segments 2 and 3.
Okay, thank you.
Marshall?
Hey, I just want to say, Mr. Mayor, as we talked about the importance of the last issue with getting our police station up and going, you know, I found it remarkable in that presentation that Ted gave before our meeting today, how often you saw that jumbled mess of power lines in a lot of those photos, you know, and so even that improvement in and of itself, I think, is going to go a long way in really making this corridor something that we can be proud of. So,
Thank you for that, Marshall. Any other aldermen? Anybody in the audience wish to speak on this? Hearing none, then we're going to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you, Sarah.
Your Honor, the next item is a resolution approving the 76 Entertainment Community Improvement District SID 2025 budget.
A motion adopting this resolution.
So moved.
We have motion is second. Staff report from Hillary.
So yes, per the original SID petition, the 76 SID is required to submit their budget to us for approval. And so that's what this is. The SID has approved it on their end. They've submitted it to the city administrator for approval, and that is what is before you tonight via this resolution.
Very nice. Any member of the board wishing to, Glenn?
Do we have somebody that can talk to specific budget items on there, or is line items? Anybody from the board?
We put their budget up on the,
Yes, we can get that up there.
thank you. While we're waiting, Glenn, what's your question?
Well, it'd probably pay to wait to get it up
Okay.
there. We're on the same page. If you want to look,
Okay. Let's just wait.
It's coming.
ooh, enlarge,
Now,
enlarge.
do you have any questions?
Okay. Yeah, can you read it is the first question. So a couple of questions. The one thing that just stood out, first of all, let me say, I just want to take note that this is a CID that submitted their budget to the Board of Aldermen on time per state statutes. And that's very much appreciated. I think that's great work on behalf of the 76 CID. But a couple of questions. So the line item that says motor vehicle repairs for $7,500, it just kind of stands out there, making me ask, what is a CID doing with motor vehicle repairs? Michael, all right.
There you go. So that item helps take care of the vehicles that we use to service it. They've been giving that for a long time, and it helps repair the ATVs and so on and so forth that we do.
Okay, so that's kind of
thermal
a
as
rebate to the city to help offset cost of city
right
participation?
for parts.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Then the other two that I was just curious about is there's two contract service administration fees, that one for $111,000, and then a couple down below that, there's another one for $307,000, if there's any commentary or breakdown on those?
So, you want to take or? Oh, no, if you guys want to go. So, well, one of them is for managing the money in, and the other one is for the lawyers, the staff that's on there, the integrator part for that. It's two different line items. So they have lawyer fees, of course, and they have communication fees that are on there. It's based on the levels that they did from previous years. And then the integrator is the position once segment 1 and 2 get started on that with all the other funding that went on previous to this. That person will help to oversee it if they choose to hire that. Is an option for them to add a staff member to oversee their interest.
Thank you. That's my questions.
Michael?
Hold your,
118,000, you said that was to administer their funds?
Yeah. So the tax, I believe on that one, and Hillary may have to help me with this one, but the 111 that's there is administration fee for finance as the tax money comes in. It's a small percentage off the top that helps make sure that staff members are here and they go out and get the state collections.
that's money that's paid to the city from the SID. Yes.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Any questions from the audience? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you, Michael.
Your Honor, the next item is a resolution approving a special event permit application for the Veterans Day Parade.
We're going to have a parade this year? Do I have a motion adopting this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, staff report from Amanda. Hello, Amanda.
Hello, Mayor, Board of Aldermen, City Administrator Stepp. Tonight, I've got a couple items. Let me see if I can get this to go. All right. Richard Burkhalter, on behalf of the Branson Veterans of America, Chapter 913, has applied for the 92nd Veterans Day Parade. It's to be held on Monday, November the 11th. Setup will begin at 7 a.m. The event will run from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. with breakdown beginning at 2 p.m. after the conclusion of the parade. The expected turnout is approximately 5,000 guests. This is considered a level 3 event. Here you'll see an aerial view of the location. Here we have the parade route, will be the same route as proposed over the last several years. Temporary closures within downtown include South Sycamore Street, Price Street, East Long Street, Branson Landed Boulevard, Commercial Street, and East College Street. Staff recommends approval.
Any aldermen have any questions or comments? Any questions, comments from the audience? Representative Seitz?
Yes, thank you for the record. I am State Representative Brian Seitz. I'm on the Veterans Committee in Jefferson City at the Capitol. I stress the importance of this event annually on the Veterans Committee. We're known statewide, the Branson area known statewide as supporting our veterans. So I think passage of this piece of legislation is extremely important. We're known across the state as a welcoming place for veterans. It's not just Veterans Day, it's a week-long plus celebration, and this kicks it off. So I wholly support this event. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, no, sorry, that's internal.
We'll talk offline. Yeah. Any other questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Your Honor, the next item is a resolution approving a special event permit application for the Branson's Adoration Parade.
Do I have a motion adopting this resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Staff report from Amanda.
Right. Grant Sloan, on behalf of the Branson Lake Area Chamber of Commerce, has applied for the 76th Annual Adoration Parade to be held on Sunday, December the 8th. This event will be from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. The parade will start at 5 p.m., and the breakdown will begin at 9 p.m. with an expected 4,000 in attendance. It is also considered a Level 3 event. Here's an aerial depicting the location of the event. Temporary closures will be the same for the veterans: South Sycamore Street, Price Street, East Long Street, Branson Landing Boulevard, Commercial Street, and East College Street. Staff recommends the approval.
Any questions, comments from the board?
Can we put up the first slide again? I just wanted to look at the, I'm sorry, with the,
Starts at 5 p.m.
you're right there.
The Veterans Day, this one
No,
was, you want the adoration?
Adoration, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't know it was on the same
I should have picked up on that.
event. So,
Setup is at 2.
so those streets are blocked off from 2 to 8 p.m.?
There would be Michael could maybe.
Is that right?
I don't know. The street's blocked off on there from 2 o'clock on. So about 4 o'clock. But
And how long is the parade?
the parade will be, let's see, it's over around 9, and they'll start breaking down at 9.
Okay. That's all.
What are you asking, Clay?
Huh? Well, I just saw 2 to 8, and I thought that's a long time to have
Oh.
the streets blocked for, that's a long parade, but the parade don't actually start till 5, and they block the streets at
Public Works
4?
Works is saying 4 o'clock, about an hour before.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions from the board?
Mr. Mayor, I just had a comment in keeping with traditional things. If we, the 92nd Veterans Day Parade and the 76th Adoration Parade, we have a history of stick-to-itness, I guess you could say, and that, I think that's a very strong thing for our community.
We can all join in. I love a parade. Okay. So back to business. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Your Honor, the next item is a resolution approving the contract with Halo Americas Incorporated for Halo body cameras and digital evidence and asset management software and actions related thereto.
Do I have a motion adopting this resolution?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Amanda, you're still up.
I'm still up. So currently, our building safety and building code inspectors are using the police department's older Motorola body cameras. I don't have anything on here, actually. These will soon require significant upgrade at a considerable cost if we continue to use those body cameras. Transitioning to Halo body cameras will provide our inspectors with the modern technology needed to enhance transparency during inspections, ensuring clear and accurate documentation of interactions with property owners, contractors, and other stakeholders. This technology is critical for resolving disputes, reducing liability, and by offering an unbiased record of events, and supporting accountability and the enforcement of building code and safety regulations. The proposed solution is a 3-year contract for 10 body cameras and the associated software. 3 of these cameras will be allocated to fire inspectors for use. Staff recommends approval of this resolution.
Any questions from the alderman? Questions from the audience? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the next item is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the termination and release of restrictive covenants of Gretna Green subdivision.
Do I have a motion adopting this resolution?
Second.
Motion is second. Staff report from Holly.
Good evening again. This is to terminate and release the restrictive covenants on Gretna Green subdivision. That is the subdivision in which we are locating our new police department. This removes restrictions created in 93 and 94 that are no longer serving that subdivision. It has already been agreed to by the other two parties within the jurisdiction. If we didn't terminate the covenants, we would have to create an architectural committee that would have to approve any development, including this development. That's no longer needed. Location of trash cans are pretty much covered now, so we're not concerned.
This is for 2 lots, correct?
This is for all of the property for within the Gretna Green subdivision. So it's not just 2 lots. There are 3 parties that own all of the lots incorporated within that subdivision.
Okay. Any members of the board have any questions? Members of the audience? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you, Holly.
Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6496, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a municipal agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission pertaining to overlay of the Branson Landing Boulevard Bridge over the White River, Lake Taneycomo.
For the first reading of Bill Number 6496, do I have a motion approving this bill? Motion is second. Staff report from Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. Again, just to speak for a half second before this, what a great day today is. All these items that you see are months and months and months of people's work, Holly's work, the people that are out selling bonds for you, the police station, the architects, the engineers, and we're doing all those pieces, and to see the great parades that take so many departments, from the fire department to public works to the police department, and all the study and planning that goes into those. With that being said, I'm bringing you one more item this evening, and I'm going to ask for a double read on it. This is for an epoxy overlay for a bridge. Although that asset is not our bridge, it's MoDOT's bridge, they asked for a cooperation agreement so they can use our bridges and make sure that they take care of shutting down roads and so on and so forth. So this is Branson Landing Boulevard Bridge, which is the lower bridge. This is what I used to do on the side, was epoxy overlays. And we're asking for a double read so they can take it to the commission. It's planned, it's developed, they have money, and they'll take it to the commission and get an item number assigned to it when the temperatures are right. 2-part epoxy goes down and actually saves your bridges for a long, long time. So it is their asset, but they have to use our roadways and close things down. And Public Works and Engineering favors our relationship with MoDOT, and we appreciate all that they do for us, and so we support this, and we ask for your support.
So, Michael, this is no cost to the city, right?
No.
We're just going to coordinate with the
That's
closing the
correct.
traffic down.
No cost to the city, and just the rights for them to do what they need to do and take care of moving traffic around. I know we used Long Street last time is how we pushed them around. When we did the upper bridge last year, they did quite a bit of work up there, so they didn't do epoxy on that one, though.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from the board?
Michael, is there an estimated time when they're going to do, the reason for the double read is just to get the approval so that as soon as the temp's up, we're in line to get it done? Is that what?
Yeah, it gets us in line for the money and gets it allocated. So right now, it's just got a basic number assigned to it, and it'll be thrown to the district office, or from the district office down to the Branson office. And then when the contractor's ready and the temperature is favorable, they'll do it.
So the quicker we get in line, the quicker we get it done?
That's right. So,
Yeah.
Yep, they came to us asking. I think they're trying to spend their money before the end of the year, so.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Artie's shooting me with a laser over here. I was lost focus.
Yeah, you ever seen a bunch of cats? We're all like,
What is going on up here?
Yeah, if you couldn't see the light, it probably looked very odd. Okay. Any members of the board have any questions? Members of the audience? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Your Honor, I move to read.
Ayes have it.
Oh, sorry. Your Honor, I move to read Bill number 6496 for its final reading due to timing.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any member of the board wishing to speak to this matter? Anybody in the audience? What we're voting on is to approve a second read. So Board, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, would you please provide the introduction to this item again?
Your Honor, this is a final reading of Bill Number 6496, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a municipal agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission pertaining to overlay of the Branson Landing Boulevard Bridge over the White River, Lake Taneycomo.
You've heard the final reading of Bill Number 6496. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any members wishing to speak to this? Michael, question, with this epoxy, is it realistic that they'll be doing it this year, or are we looking at spring? We don't know.
I would guess next spring.
Yeah, okay. Anyone in the audience have any questions? Madam Clerk, would you provide a roll call vote, please?
Lucas? Denham? Cooper?
Yes.
Howden? LeBlanc? Yes. Schultz?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5-0, motion carries.
Thank you, Michael.
Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6497, an ordinance appointing members to fill certain vacancies on the City of Branson Tax Increment Financing Commission.
You've heard the first reading of Bill 6497. I have a motion approving this bill.
So moved.
Motion is second and a third. Staff report from Hillary.
So this is a housekeeping item for the appointment of Class 1 members of the TIF Commission, which are appointed by the city. Currently, there are two that are expiring. That's Bob Simmons and David Whetstone. The mayor, as the chief elected officer of the city, has put forward Angie Teal to replace Bob Simmons and Greg Baker to replace David Whetstone, both for a 4-year term expiring November 2028. And those are the names that are before you tonight for consent and approval.
So we'll go, are there any discussions from anybody on the board?
Those are two excellent choices.
I'm sorry?
I said those are two excellent choices.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'd echo that comment. Two good names. Yep, good people.
Totally agree.
Very nice. Artie? So, any questions, comments from the audience? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6498, an ordinance approving a site lease agreement with USCOC of Greater Missouri LLC and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
My goodness. You think that green light was distracting. You've heard the first reading of Bill 6498. Do I have a motion approving this bill? Do I have a second?
Second.
We have motion and a second. We'll get a staff report from Holly.
This is a new lease, which we have a new 4% annual escalation throughout for an agreement regarding the Walmart Water Tower with USCOC of Greater Missouri LLC.
So Holly, this is the lease. The city owns a water site, the water tower, and the lease is with who?
USCOC of Greater Missouri.
Okay. Yeah, this is, for communications. So we're approving the extension of the lease at the 4% increase.
Yes, it is a new lease we are entering into, and it shows where those attachments are on Exhibit C, specifically where they're allowed to be placed. It will give us almost $50,000 for the back rent. We've been working on this lease diligently for the last 9 or 10 months. We now are happy to bring it to you today. And it will then provide for long-term lease with a 4% acceleration, so we ensure that we are getting appropriate funds.
Very nice. Any questions from the board? Questions from the audience? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Are we doing a double read? Your Honor, I move to read Bill number 6498 for its final reading due to timing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any member of the board wishing to speak to this matter? And Holly, we're asking for a double read.
Yes, and Your Honor, the reason we're asking for a double read is because with each month, it changes the numbers, and you would be amazed at how much work it takes getting attorneys to review just a changeover of what is owed for the back rent. So that's why we need to get this done. They are sending us their signed copy. This is a lease, and therefore it must be filed with the Recorder of Deeds. So that's the timing issue. We need to accomplish this before the end of this month, so we can be good landlords.
I would not be surprised, by the way. Does any member of the board have any questions or comments? Anybody in the audience have any questions, comments? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you, Holly. Oh, wait a minute. We just approved to read it a second time. Now we're going to vote for the final read. So, Madam Clerk, what is it that we would be doing a final read on? Would you like to introduce this?
I would love to. Your Honor, this is the final reading of Bill Number 6498, an ordinance approving a site lease agreement with USCOC of Greater Missouri LLC and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
You've heard the final reading of Bill 6498. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any comments? Excuse me, any comments from the board? Comments from the audience? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you provide a roll call vote, please?
Lucas, Denham, Cooper,
Yes.
Howden,
Yes.
LeBlanc,
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
The result of the vote is 5-0, motion carries.
Thank you. We are now at the report section of the meeting. Alderman Lucas. Sorry? Alderman.
Mr. Mayor, I again want to say yuha, for everything, as Ralph was saying earlier, that we have talked about, as Michael referred to when he was speaking. There were a lot of good things going on tonight at the meeting, and it's good to be a part of that. I have been speaking with residents in my area about numerous questions, concerns, comments, and I got a lot of good feedback this week from people and how they think the city is doing. And I also heard some comments that I will be continuing to address. But for the most part, I think that we, as a board and administration, and you as the mayor at the helm, are taking the city in the right direction. And I think that it goes without saying, I continually say how proud I am to be able to serve with y'all, but to be able to serve with each and every member of our staff. We've got a great group of people, and it's just good to be part of this city. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you for that, Artie. Mr. Cooper.
I just want to say how, how all these directors, I mean, I know there's a lot underneath the directors, but anytime I get an email from somebody or somebody needs something, how quick they jump on this stuff. Like, there was a couple of things that involved Michael and his department. I mean, he was just on it like stink on a bone, man. I mean, just bam, he's shooting back an hour, and they're fixing this, and they're checking this, and they're checking that, and same with Amanda and her department. And it, they say government moves slow, but not at this city hall. I haven't seen it. I mean, they just really address stuff quickly, and that was not quite my experience my first year or two in this seat. So, Kathy and everybody around, also, all y'all, that's right. Also, I wanted to invite, we got a lot of veteran stuff coming up, and we invite everybody to all the veteran events. We have a big one at my theaters we do every year that we kind of took over from Tony Orlando when he passed the baton. That's on November 4th. Is that the 4th, Mayor? Do you remember? I should know. Yes, November 4th, the big vets event at our theater. And also, I don't know if anybody got out and about this last weekend, but town was slammed. It maybe is as busy as I've seen it any weekend this year, including spring breaks, holidays. It was absolutely bumper to bumper. Friday night, I drove home at 7:30, and both ways, just nonstop. Saturday, the same thing. So it was good to see that. So that's all I have.
Very nice. Marshall.
Mr. Mayor, 1968, 1979, 1994, 2024, question mark? All those are the years that the Branson Pirates went undefeated in the regular season. And we are one game away from accomplishing that feat again. In remarkable fashion, we are outscoring our opponents this year 339 to 76. Pretty remarkable. Guys, we've got one more game in the regular season left, and I want it to be standing room only in that stadium. I think we should all show out, be loud, be rowdy, and cheer on the Pirates as we ascend into the playoffs. I'm super proud of our team. So,
Very nice. Go Pirates. Ralph.
We'd just like to remind everyone that we're coming upon the holiday season, and where things get busy and life gets kind of crazy. Just a reminder, family first, so vitally important. We look at what's going on across the country and the unfortunate things that happen over in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and a lot of family members are lost and things like that. And you always reflect on those devastating moments and how important family and life is, and how fleeting life is, in fact. So just a reminder of that, to be conscientious about that. And my next comment is, watching that piece that Terry Bradshaw did, and mentioning Clay Cooper and the theater and things like that. Clay, I know you get the gravity of it, but man, how important that is for our community to get that kind of coverage from a top-level celebrity athlete like that. Just gave me goosebumps, man. I want to thank you for everything that you've done, because you're always, just like this board, you're always thinking outside the box in your business, and it shows. And inadvertently, this community is blessed because you just took a shot and got a real funny Louisiana guy out here, and to make fun of things. But I just want to thank you for that, for doing that, and I just think it's going to do great things for our community. And lastly, my youngest daughter had grandchild number 8, and I'm just so thankful and grateful that both are happy, healthy, and beautiful as all get out. So that's all I got.
Glenn.
Yeah, first, it's good to be back in town. I had a number of people ask me if I was sick or what was going on, but actually I was just out doing harvest with a family farm for the last 4 weeks, driving grain cart around, so nothing exciting.
Lugging 5 miles an hour.
Rewarding work. I actually held 2 meetings with city staff from the tractor. And Ralph can verify that because he was on one of those Zoom meetings. So they got to see what I was doing in that thing. But it is good to be back. Had a couple people ask me when I was walking around the last couple of days, what's coming up on the agenda today? And when I mentioned that, I think we're going to be finalizing the police department, both of them said, yes, glad to hear it. And that's so nice to hear from our community that, there's so much behind that kind of project. We know, of course, they're behind our department, but when it comes to infrastructure projects, sometimes it's not always the same. So it was just really great to get that kind of feedback. I also got questions that I'd like to just share with the aldermen and maybe some other members of the public or want to be aware of. I was asked by a constituent why Hiawatha Heights project hasn't gone ahead with the sewer, water, road replacement up there. And it really comes down to one major item, and that's there's a number of residents that haven't signed easements so that work can get done. As a result of that, another project has to go in front of it until this easement issue is sorted out. It's very unfortunate. I'm sure it's very frustrating for those residents that the majority of which stepped forward and signed the easements and allowed the city to get started. To have a few hold everything up just doesn't seem fair, but I know our city staff is working on it. And I'd ask if you as neighbors know who those people are, put a little pressure on them and let's get this project done, because it's a long time in planning. The money's there. Everybody's ready to go. We just need the signatures on those easements. And then the other one I had a couple of constituent calls on is kind of a different thing. Questions about the Branson Hills CID in the operation of that. And I know this, I'll say first of all, I'm clearly aware that this is a separate sub-entity of the government. It's not directly our responsibility. But yet they're taxing our residents, our businesses. We granted them the permission. They're supposed to be submitting their budgets to us for review every year between 120 and 90 days before the start of the year. They're supposed to be submitting to us their year-end financial statement around the June timeframe. Our city clerk has been diligent in keeping after them, letting them know that they have not complied with that. They're basically 3 years behind in annual reminders from us to get this paperwork in that by state law, they must get into us. This isn't a city ordinance, this is a state ordinance. I'm not sure if this is an issue we've got wrong addresses, if this board that's running this organization is apathetic, incompetent, or ill-informed. I'm not sure, but it's one of those. And what I'd like to ask is that we ask our city attorney to work with our city clerk to pen an official letter to them demanding within 10 days all the past due documents, all meeting minutes, and report it to this board so that we can see what's going on there. And I would suggest that in the event they don't honor that, which they've ignored for the last 3 years apparently, that we then pen a letter to the state auditor and to our representatives to get after this. I'd also just point out, since we've got Brian here, I know Brian's always looking for things that we could do to, from a state perspective. It's certainly, when I look at the ordinances around CID, there's a lot of you must do this, you must do that, but there's no teeth to it whatsoever. So when people blow this off, there's no penalties, there's nothing, right? So it would be good if we could put a little bit more muscle into this thing so that when we as a city are disadvantaged from some oversight capacity, that they're compelled to act on this. And then the last thing I'd just like to mention to everybody, it's been in the news, but in case you missed it, as of today, we're in that what they call no excuse voting period. So you can now go to the to the county clerk's office, cast your ballot without having to have a reason why you're there ahead of time. That's the no excuse part. Up to today, you had to have one of the legitimate reasons to be able to do that. Now you don't need any reasons. You can just show up, take your photo ID. If you're registered to vote already, you'll be all set to vote there at the county clerk's office. And after what happened with the 2 hurricanes, and you think back in the COVID days and all that, I never thought of voting early, but when you see how fast things can change in your personal life, maybe it's not such a bad idea to get out there and vote early and get it recorded. So that's it. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Glenn. Vote early, vote often. Kathy, any comment?
Yep, just one thing for everybody. Just wanted to, from every corner of City Hall, send our love and congratulations to Alderwoman Denham, whose daughter was getting married today. So congratulations to her and her family in that celebration. And then our heartfelt condolences to her as well for the recent passing of her sister. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about that, and if you're so inclined, to pass on your condolences. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. I have a couple. Oh, Representative Seitz, did you have a report to give?
Yes, just to ditto what Alderman Schultz said. I was at the county clerk's office today, and they've got some extra spaces set up for the voters. Especially, I encourage elderly voters to use this opportunity for no excuse voting because the ballot is really long. And if you're going to read all of the amendments, which you should, prior to voting, you might want to use these next 2 weeks, including Saturdays. They've opened it up for Saturdays. They have extra staff there. They have extra places where you can go vote. And we've even seen some of the ballots coming. I've not seen any ballots, of course, but I have heard about ballots coming in because some of the amendments are very confusing. They're marking 2 circles and their ballots being rejected, then they're going to have to be explained to what they're actually voting on, and then they go back. So it's taking some people 45 minutes to vote. The lines are going to be huge on November 5th because this is a presidential election. So I would encourage anyone to take the opportunity during this next 2 weeks to go ahead and vote.
Thank you so much. Just a few quick things. My wife and I went to the College of the Ozarks and attended the Reflections of the White House with Jenna Bush. That was very inspirational. Also greeted the grand opening for the International Country Gospel Ministries. They have a week-long event in Branson. This is their 11th year. I was really excited to hear what Silver Dollar City's doing. That impact that they're doing out there, don't kid yourself, it will have a huge impact on Branson, Missouri. Parks and Rec is having a Halloween bonanza on Friday, October 25th at the Recplex. As Clay mentioned, Veterans Week starts on the 4th. We have a welcome ceremony for the veterans on November 4th at the Vietnam Wall at Fire Station number 4. And the Vietnam Wall is on display for the entire week, and it will remain up at Fire Station 4 365 days a year until it moves to its new home at the police station. I also I put a memo out that I'm in receipt of these pins. The pins say Vietnam War veteran. Came from Department of Defense, met with some gentlemen from the Pentagon, and they asked if we could assist them in handing these out if we interacted with any Vietnam War veterans. So I had them send us a bunch. If anybody would like one, if they served in any branch of the service during the Vietnam era, in combat, not in combat, served during that period of time, we've placed these pins up at our front desk when you come into City Hall. So if you are a veteran during the Vietnam era, if you know of somebody, please pick these pins up. There's no cost. It's the DOD's way of saying thank you to our Vietnam veterans. We'll be distributing them in town. I know our fire department will have some to hand out. In fact, Chief Martin went on the honor flight this past Wednesday. And on his flight, he was able to hand out 80 of these pins to Vietnam War veterans. Clay Cooper has some that he'll be handing out to the Vietnam veterans at his show. We want to distribute these to show our honor and appreciation for what these veterans have done for our country. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, say aye.